What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people talk to
Hello, Pro Baseball Experience. Welcome to the new PBE Rewind, your one-stop shop, all things PBE. Looks like your boy Ioe got called up to the big leagues, and we're bringing you all the latest news and ongoings around the league. Here at Rewind, we will look back on the week's events and recap the Sims throughout the season, as well as highlight big stories and storylines. We're glad you joined us and hope to see you each week as we catch up on the ongoings around the league. After starting a weekly show highlighting my current sim team, Sarasota Supernova, and highlighting the team's weekly happenings, I was approached to try and do a similar show for all PBE. As we know, this kind of league needs community engagement, and my hopes is to bring a fun show to highlight teams and players around the league, as well as keep folks informed who might not be able to catch every simulation stream. So come and join us on this journey with myself, Laser, and Sam as we go through the PBE and take a look at what has been going on with the Season 23 offseason. There have been some big-time signings already, and teams appear to be making a big push forward for Season 23. The Death Valley Scorpions and Season 20 and Season 21 champions are setting themselves up for another run after losing two of their big-time starters in Ed Barker and Balaquin, who combined for 54 starts, going a combined 25 and 15, both earning ERAs under 4. Death Valley goes out and gets two of the biggest arms in free agent, Frederick Enriquez Garcia from Providence and Buster Nutt from New Orleans. Nutt and Garcia come to join Death Valley's ace, Harry Styles, and could be a three-headed monster that could be the pieces Death Valley need to get back in position to win another championship. I think it's safe to say that Death Valley's dynasty is not over, and as they were a 70-plus win team last season, they continue to make moves to sustain that kind of success. But the question still arises, can this success be sustained? This very well could be their last big opportunity to win a championship. That all being said, they still have to go through the current champion, San Antonio, if they want to make any kind of run at a championship. Alright, so the somber part of the show, we are going to look back at 5 of the best players that have hung up their cleats and officially retired after Season 22. Season 22 did see many PBE greats call it quits, from future Hall of Famers to multiple-time champions, and even a few players that maybe just didn't perform as well as they had expected. In no particular order, here are 5 PBE players who retired in Season 22. Number 5, Colbin Fairborn. Kicking off our list is pitcher Colbin Fairborn. Fairborn played 12 seasons, starting his career in Utah before playing for Boise, Detroit, and finally finishing his career with the Voyagers. Fairborn began his career as a reliever, amassing 40 saves over 6 seasons for Utah. In the onset of his career, in 2032, Fairborn was moved to the starting rotation where he had a solid .362 ERA in his first season. Fairborn became a workhorse starting pitcher, pitching over 200 innings for the next 3 seasons and finding solid success. Fairborn lit up the strikeout leaderboard, putting up 1,743 strikeouts over his long career. His career ERA stands at a respectable .407, and he finished career with a solid 27.2 WAR. Fairborn will surely be missed by his teammates as he says goodbye to PBE. 4 on our list is Grover Wokenfuss. Number 4 is another pitcher. Mr. Wokenfuss pitched for 9 seasons, seeing time as both a reliever and a starter. Wokenfuss improved pretty much every year of his career, putting up solid numbers, and he finished his career with a quite respectable 3.61 career ERA, with 1,182 strikeouts to his name and a 22.8 career WAR. Wokenfuss's final year may have been the best of his career as he put up a 2.68 ERA and a career-high 4.7 WAR. Wokenfuss chose to go out on a high note and call it quits after the best season of his career. Number 3, Chris King. Up next is the middle infielder Chris King. King had a solid career cut short as he never quite reached the illustrious goals he had in mind. Regardless, King still had a storied career that is better than most in his 10 seasons. King was a consistent force in the lineup with a WAR over 3 in 6 out of his last 7 seasons. King was never necessarily known as a power hitter, yet still bashed 118 home runs in his career. King's career WRC plus was 116 and a big step above league average. And he finished with a career slash line of 271 average, 347 on base, 436 slugging. King looked to continue his success in his post-baseball career, and it remains to be seen what his future holds for him. But surely, it will be a successful endeavor. Here we have J.D. Jacks, the utility infielder and longtime Utah Railroader. Jacks had a fantastic career as a hitter, playing over the infield, spreading time at first, second, third, and shortstop. A solid infielder, Jack's main reputation comes in the form of his hitting. He broke out in 2030 when he put up a 5.2 WAR in a season in which he had an OPS over 1,000 and hit 28 home runs. This season was the start of Jack's prime, as he continued to have 5 straight seasons after in which he put up a WAR above 4.0, including a 3-year stretch of putting up over 6.0 WAR. Jack's acclimated a 38.8 WAR in his career and finished with a slash line of an average 279, 353 on base, and 507 slug. Jacks will ride off into the sunset as one of the best hitting infielders in history of PBE. And lastly, we have probably the most memorable of the 5 here, in that his name is, well, first name, last name. The legendary catcher, first name, last name, played his whole career for the Scorpions, where he collected 6 championships in one of the greatest dynasties this league has ever seen. In 2035, Last Name won the MVP in a season that saw him with an 8.4 WAR and an OPS of 1.036. Last Name had at least 15 home runs in every season except for his debut in his final campaign, a streak of 10 straight seasons in which he dominated the competition in the field. Last Name had a career .995 fielding percentage with only 61 errors in his long career. Off the field, Last Name was the leader for the Scorpions for so long it became a household name across the league. His career 49.7 WAR and 1,298 career hits will surely garner some attention when his name rolls around the Hall of Fame ballot. Alright, well, that was sad. Now moving on to a more brighter future, so to speak, we are going to move on to our minor league correspondent who will bring us our updates on what's going on with the minor league moving into season 23, and we'll also do a little recap of the draft. And now, Sam, with your minor league report.
When we think of the PBE, we think of the major league teams. The Scorpions, Sloths, and Voyagers all come to mind. But every PBEer had to start their career somewhere, and that place is almost always the minor leagues. As for this week's minors recap, there's not much to go over other than the entry draft and awards, and knowing me, I'll spend a solid 20 minutes on each. So overall, I just want to focus on one thing in this episode, the Dallas Dynamos and how they won this draft. LBG has been doing a great job of building up the super team he always wanted to have, acquiring 5 of the 8 first-round picks in the season 23 minor league draft via trades and other things that I know nothing about. Yes, that's right. This year, the Dynamos had picks 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8th overall, and boy did they take advantage of it. One of the biggest retirements of Season 22 was First Name, Last Name, one of the last remaining Season 9 creates that was still around in the league. When the news broke that Person Man would be recreating, the PBE world was in shock, but also not surprised. After all, progression is pretty annoying. Now, all we had to do was wait a little longer for the draft to come by, and for whichever team landed with first overall to obviously pick Person Man's new create. Nobody was surprised when the Dynamos picked first overall. Person Man is not only an excellent player, but a killer general manager, as he directed and created the Death Valley dynasty we all love to hate. He will no doubt bring a lot of wisdom and firepower to the Dynamos, not only on the baseball field, but in the war room and locker room as well. No doubt a great pick for Dallas. The Dynamos then went out and got themselves another middle infielder, SD Corps' Caden Kaelian. Yet another Season 72 retiree, SD Corps shocked the world when Speedy Gonzalez finally slowed down, putting his career to an end. However, Caden Kaelian seemed like a no-brainer as he feels a desperate need for an active middle infielder. Dallas then picked up on their first new create, the one, the only, the second Crunkening, Jebediah Crunk. Other than a dispute with the original Crunk over who is the real Crunk, Jebediah has been an upstanding member of the league. Crunk comes from the International Simulation Football League, where he's a very well-known user. In the PBE, Crunk seems to be a very active and contribution new create. The fourth Dynamos pick and third recreate pick by Dallas is left-right, known as a Latin Viking on the forums. While Latin Viking's former player, Gonzalo Pena, ended up retiring early on in his career, left-right is looking to kick a fruitful minor leagues career. Viking is a double dynamo, as Gonzalo Pena was a dynamo in his minor league days. Left-right will fill a gaping hole in the Dynamo's hot corner and is a great acquisition. The final pick we'll be talking about is the 8th overall pick, Ruth Heater Ginsburg. Ginsburg is a reliever who has clearly turned some heads in not only the Dynamo's war room, but war rooms across the minors, as she was a hot commodity coming into the draft. The Dynamos snagged her at 8th overall, which brings them a dangerous threat to their bullpen. Ginsburg will no doubt be a great addition to the team. That's about it for the draft, so I would move on to the awards. But I can't really go over all of them because, as I said before, I tend to ramble a lot. While I can't go over all of the awards here, I want to specifically shout out the winner of the Miners Ambassador and Most Dedicated Member Awards, Enoch. Enoch has been a very helpful user to rookies around the pro baseball experience, including myself and many others in my draft class. Keep doing what you're doing, Enoch. The league is so much better because of it. Well, that's about all the time I have. I'm Sam with the Minor League Recap, and also, I accept Cowboys Challenge. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sam. Fantastic stuff there. Be on the lookout every week for Sam as he does his minor league rewind each week, bringing you all the news and happenings around the minor league. Also, shout out Enoch. Yeah, thanks, man. I probably wouldn't even be in this league still if it wasn't for that guy. Great job. Keep up the great work. All right. Now it's time to my favorite part of the show. We are going to bring on a newcomer to the PBE world. We all know him as Cowboy, and if you were listening to the draft, he was the number 14th pick in the most recent Season 23 draft, where the Sloss traded out of number 14 to the Apex, who ended up taking him. Cowboy went on the draft stream and basically just tore it up and ripped everybody a new one, giving us probably one of the greatest speeches of all time in PBE history in any kind of stream. So much so that we had to bring him on this show to give us a little bit of what he is seeing around the league and a little bit of Cowboy perspective in a segment we call Cowboy Callouts. Take it away, Cowboy. What do you got for us?
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Cal Talk. I'm Cal, and I talk, so let's just get right down into it. The Season 23 draft was just a few days ago, and everyone walked out with one question on their minds. What in the hell were the Vandals thinking? Passing up on Cowboy, the 6'4", 300-pound beast straight out of NOLA. 22 home runs, 300 average. What more can you ask for in a player? Got to be, I'll be the one to say it, unbiased opinion, the best prospect this league has ever seen or ever will see. The most no-brainer 1-1 pick possible. And they picked Sam Andrews, a man whose name sounds like he should be applying for a business loan, not playing baseball. I don't know what Mr. and Mrs. Andrews was thinking, but that name sucks. Get it together, be creative. But that's outside of baseball. I want to stick to baseball. Sam, I'm going to speak to you straight up. I'm better than you. We both know that. So let's just put a little bet on it. If you have the better year than me, I'll write a 1,000-word article for you to publish. You have the better year than me, vice versa. I'll write an article for you. I'm not really sure if that's against the rules or what, but I don't really care. If the head office has a problem with it, they can write a complaint to me. They can bring it straight to my house, or I can throw it straight to my trash can. Because I don't care. I don't care what they have to say. Now, we'll determine who has a better year by, let's say, WAR. Everyone can agree on WAR. I mean, it's boring, but it tells mostly the whole story. We'll go with that. It's not going to happen. We can use whatever stat you want, unless that stat is, I don't know, losses. Because that's what y'all do over at the Vandals, is lose, apparently. Because y'all don't want to win. Y'all don't draft Cowboy. And clearly, you don't want to win if you're not going to draft. I'm going to get ahead of myself. I'm I just got to cut this short right now before I really lose it. I still cannot believe I did not go 1-1. What are the Foxes thinking? Those weebs, get out of the league. Okay, I'm going to cut it right there. Cal talk, Cal out.
Thanks, Cowboy. Absolutely riveting stuff. I look forward to what you have to say each week, as this is some exciting news. Well, that's it for this week with PBE Rewind. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with us. This offseason had a lot going on. We wanted to bring you all the information and be as informative and fun as we possibly could. Join us next week as we look at spring training and do some season predictions, player highlights, and we hope to bring you this show each week, highlighting all those PBE information and fun times. Thanks again to Sam, Cowboy, and our producers Red Arrow and 209 Tacos and 19 AJB. And this has been Ioe Torrent with your PBE Rewind. See you next week.
Astro, no. What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb?